Hey, I'm Noah.
Hey, I'm Tim.
And this is our ongoing comic strip AP of Dogs in the Vineyard. I had somebody ask me after listening to an episode, how do they know that you're a dog, a watchdog, every time you go to a new town?
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't described this in detail, but it's because all watchdogs wear these special cloaks.
So imagine these kids who get sent off to Bridal Falls to become a dog. They're leaving like their family behind, their past behind, and that family they leave, or whoever they left, they put together this cloak, this I think kind of like a quilt of all these different pieces, these elements stitched together, so that when that person becomes a dog, they have this piece of their history on them. Like, think about the colors, the symbols, all that being really emblematic of that individual.
Yeah, and they're the only people allowed to wear these cloaks. So, when you ride into a city with this like big quilt cloak thing that has maybe your family symbol on it or a lot of different symbols, people recognize you right away.
All right, so we're following up with Brother Terrence Witt, played by Noah. So I am still in the GM seat, and we're picking up right where we left off last time. Shall we jump on in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
I'm sitting upon my horse Rio as Vergil has just come out of the building. Vergil's this branch steward of Eden, and he's in his night clothes. And I got Franklin, my brother here, the bandit, and his compatriot, Sister Ambry, I believe her name was. Yeah, it's dead of night, and we're going to talk with Vergil here, I guess.
Nice. So Franklin's your older brother, right?
Yeah.
What kind of relationship did you two have growing up?
It was pretty good, but he was always the wild one, and always getting in trouble, whereas I was the favored baby son, mom's favorite or whatever.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him in probably years, since he stopped being a dog, probably.
Vergil steps in front of the three of you on horseback, as if he could stop you, and a wind sweeps up, so you see a gust flutter his night clothes that he's wearing, and he addresses Franklin, looking him straight in the eyes. Franklin, boy, I told you not to come back to this town. I run you out once, and you know what has to happen now. And Franklin has his head down. He just agreed to follow you out of town.
Right.
But here the branch steward stands in the way. And Ambry, well, she's holding on tight to that saddlebag. There's a gun in there somewhere. But
yeah, I definitely got my eye on her. I don't trust her at all.
Yeah.
Now hold on, branch steward. You knew about Franklin? You've known that this is your bandit here?
Why, Franklin's come into this town before, except under a different name and alias, and he got into some unconventional mischief here. And he spits on the ground. A deviant, this one. And I ran him out, and I said if he comes back, I'm locking him up until the territorial authority decides what to do. Franklin sputters as if to defend himself. But...
Well, now hold on, Brother Vergil. Me and this here bandit, we just struck a deal, and I'm going to ride them out of town, take their weapons, and they won't be coming back to Eden.
Know that if they leave town tonight, I'll have the territorial authority hunting them down as soon as they arrive. Because otherwise, this deviant will just show up in another town with his corrupt and wily ways. So it's a death warrant either way in my book, but I have a root cellar down below that will serve as a jail cell. He can be safe down there rather than out in the wild. What say you, Brother Terrence?
Now, I struck a deal with these bandits. I told them I'd ride them out of town, and they said they'd go peacefully. I'm a man of my word.
I'm a man of my word, and I said if he steps foot in this town, this Franklin, that I would hand him over to the authority. So whose word do we value most right now, son?
All right, so what's at stake is, can I stop Brother Vergil from locking up my brother Franklin? Brother Vergil, I know that you want to protect your city of Eden. and I respect that. But I made a deal with these tier bandits, and I certainly don't want nothing to come to bloodshed.
And tell me, son, do you treat every bandit with such common courtesy? Why, in fact, you two boys seem to be getting on pretty comfortably for being outnumbered in the presence of bandits here.
Well, I believe that every man has a right to his own story, and I don't see why we need to escalate for no reason. Now, despite the territorial authority coming, the elders at Bridal Falls sent me, as a dog, to assess this situation. I've assessed it, and I'm going to take these bandits out of town.
He takes a step closer to your horse. Son, I trust the authority. And you dogs, hell, we ain't on some holy crusade here. Now, Brother Terrence, I sense you are protective over these two fragile bandits that need your protection. Now, that root cellar of mine will keep them safe until the authority decides what to do next. Would you send them out into the wilderness to terrorize another town, or have them here under a watchful eye?
Brother Vergil, it sounds like you're calling me soft. Put my hand on my reins. Seems to me you have a grudge. You've met this bandit before. And quite frankly, I don't think you should be bringing in the territorial authority.
So Vergil is already standing mighty close, and he steps forward and puts his hand on your horse Rio's bridle. Boy, addressing you this time, come along now.
Rio don't like nobody else touching him, and I kind of pull on his reins, and Rio kicks his head and kicks Vergil's hand off him. I got two bandits right here with guns, and you're here pulling on my horse. Now, this could go very bad for both of us.
Vergil lets go of the bridle, one hand up, the other hand up, and takes steps back. When the authority comes and they ask who was involved in this business, I may be naming 3 such people to watch for outside of Eden. Boy, you are not welcome back in this town. And he turns his back on the 3 of you.
Brother Vergil, you forget yourself. I will be making my report to the authority, and by that I mean the elders in Bridal Falls, not some damn territorial bureaucrat authority. And I turn around, and I ride these bandits out of town.
Yeah. So Franklin rides up alongside you for a bit.
Sure.
And he whispers rather loudly, That was really nice. The way you lied. The way you lied to the steward about us not being brothers.
No, I didn't lie to that steward. I just didn't tell him that we're brothers.
Ooh, it's a good little prank. I like it. All right, little brother, I'm going to ride up front. Let's keep this prank going, all right? Ambry. And you see she was reaching into her saddlebag for that gun then, and she stops.
Yeah. And I her.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make me shoot you, Ambry.
She rides up on him.
And I have my rifle, like, slung across Rio, like it's in my lap.
Yeah. So from up here, you can see the shining jewel of the West, this city of Eden. You're up a bit higher now, cedars on either side of you. You could climb this mountain for a while and you could see the whole territory. It's a cloudless, dark night. There's a chill in the air up here, and the horses are no longer comfortable being pushed up this rather rocky path, so 2 in front of you, horses circled a couple times, and Franklin looks at you expectantly. So, brother, where are we going all from here?
Well, we ain't going anywhere. You can go wherever you please. That is, after I take your guns. And I look at Ambry and I'm like, I ain't asking. And, frankly, you better change your ways. I'm not going to be in every city.
He sees his determined little brother. Shit, you don't back down.
No, I'm not backing down.
He pulls out both of his guns, lays them across both of his hands, hands them on over.
Now, Amber, you don't have to You don't have to reach in that bag, as I see her hand moving towards it.
Uh-huh.
You can just untie it from your horse, and that'll be that.
She clears her throat as if she hasn't spoken in a while. She says, I've been watching, and I see how you dogs just kind of say whatever's good for you, you know? You just talk out of the side of your mouth and just say what's convenient. Your brother's over there with your little plans and confirms everything that I thought about dogs. I can't trust a lot of you, so no, I ain't giving you my gun. I'm gonna turn right around. I'm gonna ride like blazes.
What's at stake is, will Ambry ride away?
Sister Ambry turns tail and she starts galloping.
Gall darn it. Then I just kick Rio in the sides and I go chasing after her.
Franklin's gonna follow.
You know, we're on these alpine trails and I navigate Rio deftly enough where I get side by side with her and I grab her horse's bridle. Doesn't have to be like this, Ambry.
You rip that bridle right off the horse. And she screams out, and with one arm, she's holding on to the horse's mane as she struggles to keep the lead. She doesn't know how to handle it, and you see she's taking any damn path she can. She jumps over a little dry creek bed, and up ahead is another such ravine, and she leaps over it, hoping to at least slow you down.
But Rio's well-trained, makes the ravine, but just barely. I get back up close to her, swing my leg off one side of my saddle, and I jump from my horse to her horse.
She screams out as you're riding on her horse off the saddle behind her. Rio surely knows well enough to stop. You hear Franklin yelp as he's trying to come to a stop before he can make that ravine, and rocks tumbling down all around him.
She's got her back to me, obviously. We're on a horse together, and I'm holding on to the back of the saddle. But as I'm doing that, I reach down, grab that new boot knife I just bought, pull it out, and I cut the saddle. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to jump off, and she's going to fall off.
Mm-hmm. So from across that ravine, Franklin never jumped across that. He cries out, "Little brother!" as you go tumbling, but you've fallen off a horse before. That's how you learn to ride a horse.
Yeah, and I knew I was about to jump off this horse, so, I kind of did a tuck and roll.
And when Ambry goes tumbling, she quickly ends up underneath that horse. And as the hoof is coming down, probably would have smashed her right then and there. That horse reacts at the last minute, stumbles, hits some loose gravel, and that horse is down on that rocky mountain. Looks like that leg is busted up pretty bad. Ambry, she's got cuts and bruises, but she's crying. She looks like she's reliving something horrible that's probably happened before. Franklin's cried out. He sees you're okay, but he's still far. He's
sure
other side of there.
Much like, when you're chasing down steer, I tie her hands up real quick. It's all right. You'll be all right. Just a little fall. Yeah, so, I gather her gear, and Rio's there. He didn't go far.
Mm-hmm.
And I ride to the edge of that ravine that I'm not going to jump back over. So it's, Franklin on one side and me on the other. And I've got Ambry tied by the wrists on a lead line behind my horse, so she has to walk.
Brother, am I escorting the lovely lady into our demise without our guns here? Are you tying me up too? And he holds up his hands kind of mockingly, from across the ravine.
I made a promise to Brother Vergil back there, and Ambry here, she didn't want to go all peaceful like, so I'm going to take her to the next town, lock her up. I don't want to see you for a while. Go home, Franklin.
Brother, you'll hear some stories about me, and they're all mostly true. I don't know how much more kindly the rest of our family's going to be.
I think I nodded at him. Well, every man has a path to choose. And I turn and ride off.
Hi, this is Jason from the Gauntlet Gaming Community. If you enjoyed this episode of Comic Strip AP, please consider supporting the Gauntlet on Patreon. Our page can be found at patreon.com/gauntlet.